Hi there, Steve Senski here with Trailers from Hell. Back in the 1970s, in the early part of the decade, no one less than Rod Serling was traveling around to colleges and universities, and he was telling the students that he'd meet in classes and lectures that there was this one particular horror movie that he had seen was one of the most frightening films he'd ever seen in his life. That movie was Let's Scare Jessica to Death, and it's a forgotten classic from the early part of the decade.
I'm calling on all the spirits of everyone who's ever died in this house. Jessica. I'm calling on all the spirits of everyone who's ever died in this house. Jessica.
I first saw Let's Scare Jessica to Death when I was 9 years old in the cinema, and it made quite the impression. It's a subtle little horror film that gets under your skin. It's a story of a young woman who has just been released from a mental institution. She sees these visions in this small town out east, and dare she say anything about them? Because if she's wrong, she'll be sent back to the loony bin. Zohra Lampert is a tremendous actress. She doesn't really have a lot of film credits. Her stream of consciousness runs throughout the movie. And there's a very compelling scene where she's eating a piece of steak and it's been undercooked, and she looks down at her plate and the blood is coagulating on the plate. And you hear the voiceover say, "It's blood, Jessica, it's blood." That's the way this movie works. It gets inside your head just like these images get inside Jessica's head. John Hancock is the director. He had greater success during the 1970s with a later film, Bang the Drum Slowly, and was at one point was assigned to direct the sequel to Jaws back in 1978. But he was kicked off that project when he wanted to take too dark an approach to the material. Hancock's time in the sun lasted pretty much only over the decade, but he made an impressive debut here with not a lot of money. You see here in the film, are these visions vampires? Are these visions ghosts? It's very understated, and it's open to many, many interpretations.
Jessica.
Even the title alone, Let's Scare Jessica to Death, reminds me of all those films of the late 60s that had abnormally long titles that took so much marquee space to sell. There's been some talk lately of a remake of this. I hope they don't remake this. I hope instead more people go back to the original, because it is so artfully done on such a minimal budget, and I think the performances, particularly Zohra Lampert, are so compelling. Let's Scare Jessica to Death from 1971. In many ways, it's sort of a leftover from the 1960s. It's very bohemian, it's very counterculture. It's one of my favorite horror films of the 1970s. Check it out.